Yeah, let's solve a murder mystery. So,
Yay!
welcome back to Umineko.
Umineko no
Umineko.
Nakarani, also known as When the Sea Kitties Cry.
What?
When the Sea Kitties Cry.
Sea kitties?
So Umi means sea and
Oh.
Neko means cat. So they're sea cats, also known as sea kitties. It's a thing! That's how that word works in Japan's. It's like Fight Man for Battler.
Wait, but
Seagulls are sea kittens.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a fact. Fight Men, take it on the sea kitties. Let's go.
That's weird.
Anyway, back to the show!
All that could be heard was the sound of the rain and the voices from the kids' TV program Maria was watching, and the engrossed Maria's cackling voice. In other words, what greeted them as they returned dumbfounded from that horrible, bizarre scene was the voice of Maria as she rolled about laughing at the TV.
Oh, God.
Those who returned to the room didn't know how to explain to Maria that her mother was dead and were trapped by a suffocating silence. At first, Maria returned their stares with a dubious look, but when she realized they weren't trying to blame her for anything. She ignored them and immersed herself in the TV program.
No.
Children wordlessly sat down heavily on the sofa.
With that fucking music.
Their minds were probably blank from the state of shock. Everyone had already cried and mourned so much, but now they just vaguely sat there, their faces seeming to have lost all emotion. Only Cannon had returned to his usual calm expression.
He's a robot. I mean furniture.
However, that probably didn't mean he'd been able to wipe out the shock. Nothing was reflected in his eyes as he stared into empty space. Hideyoshi kept on fidgeting, and every time he remembered that horrible scene, he started muttering about how he couldn't believe it, and how it couldn't have been something from this world, how it must have been the work of demons. Every now and then, his mutterings produced a question directed at Nanjo, but the latter kept repeating in a calm, doctor-like manner that nothing could be understood by only glancing at the scene, and that until the police arrived, they wouldn't learn anything. However, Nanjo only appeared calm next to Hideyoshi, simply couldn't suppress his agitation and fear. In fact, Nanjo had already received a huge shock, and his face was a deathly pale. Maybe that atmosphere was why she tried to rise to the challenge and take charge, so he appeared to be unchanged from her normal attitude, and she briskly gave directions.
I will go see father. Genji, quickly contact the police. Certainly.
I wonder if you would allow me to tag along, Natsuine-san? Since Krasny-san is now gone, the task of aiding father has been left to me. It'd be improper of me to relax here while relying entirely on you. Natsui was struck speechless by Ava's aggressive move in a situation like this. She seemed to be claiming that with Kraus dead, the one to take responsibility shouldn't be his wife, but herself, the next highly ranked in the family. Or maybe she hadn't been at all happy when Natsui took command without reference to her in such an extreme situation. However, Ava's mind had been blank from shock until a moment ago. She only came to her senses after Natsui started giving orders.
Just do as you like.
Natsui started walking without saying a word more. Ava followed behind her. As they did, Kumasawa ran into the parlor. She usually wasn't the kind of person to run around, so under normal conditions, most people would have taken her entrance as a sign that something was the matter. But because everyone was still stricken with shock, they hardly even noticed her.
Madam! If you're looking for Natsune-san, she went to see father. She'll probably be back soon. What happened, Kumasawa-san? You see, in the dining hall there was blood!
The ears of everyone in the parlor twitched. Everyone thought the same thing. I hope I misheard that. Any container can only hold so much, and no one here would be capable of handling yet another tragedy. So they all thought it. I hope I misheard it.
What happened? In the dining hall? When I went to the dining hall to set up for breakfast... First one to start running was George.
Oh.
His harsh footsteps jogged Hideyoshi and Nanjo to their senses, and they chased after him. Butler and the others followed. Flew into the dining hall one after another, but they didn't find any change that might have caused Kumasawa to go pale. Those who had viewed that gruesome scene in the storehouse was a bit of an anticlimax. However, Kumasawa, who had followed them, pointed it out. There really were some traces of blood remaining on the floor. Compared to that terrible scene, it wasn't very impressive. However, if you calmly thought about it, this definitely indicated the loss of a lot of blood. There's another puddle of blood over there. What in the world? No, it appears that a great deal of time has passed. It's probably safe to say that they were killed here last night. Definitely looks that way. We were talking together in the dining hall until late into the night. After that, someone must have forced their way in. Dad, when did you and Mum slip out of the meeting and go to sleep? It was a little past midnight. So, we should probably assume that it happened after that.
Are you kidding me? Give me a break.
My lady, please, stay strong.
After seeing that hell on earth in the storehouse, this is nothing. Really good for you. I feel like my head's gonna explode. This is the dining hall, right? Every day, this is where I'd eat, complain about school, complain about homework, talk to my dad about my grades. That's what this place is to me.
My lady, it wouldn't be good to remain here any longer. Let's return to the parlor.
I agree. Uncle Hideyoshi? I think this room will be really important to the police. Don't you think it'd be bad if we trampled all over it? Butler proposed this in a slightly firm voice. Along with Cannon, he grabbed the pail and shaking Jessica's shoulders.
Everything is just as Butler-san said. There's nothing more to be gained from remaining in this room.
Andrew spoke while looking at everyone's pale faces. Even though that horrible scene in the storehouse felt like something not of this world, at least that we'd been able to leave, to cut ourselves off from that place and run away. Everyone had shared in that feeling. However, this dining hall was different. It was in the mansion, the main building on the estate. As Jessica had said, it should have been one of the most calming places even inside the mansion. It's where all of the relatives had eaten lunch and dinner yesterday. The shock of seeing this place smeared with blood reminded us of that horrible spectacle in the storehouse and forced us to accept that we hadn't really been able to run away from the scene of that tragedy.
I agree too. The culprit might have left traces in this room. Amateurs like us shouldn't stir the place up. Let's leave quickly. Quickly, quickly!
Hideyoshi also understood the meaning of what Butler had said and pushed everyone to hurry out of the dining hall. The way we were then, looking at the blood any longer would have been too harsh. Nobody went against his words. Everyone raced each other out the dining hall. It was almost as though the last person in the room would be trapped in there, all alone.
Ooh! Another door.
So, before we read this next bit of the scene,
Okay.
it just occurred to me while we were talking about blood.
Okay.
Did we find that Natsui's room was the only one with blood on the handle?
We haven't seen any of the rooms with blood on the handle, no.
Okay.
I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of more rooms with blood on the handle.
Okay. I was just wondering.
But no, we haven't seen any yet.
Because I'm still trying to piece together whether that's meant to be, like, symbolism about the black magic because of the thing on the door, or whether it's meant to be, like, Natsui did the murders and then came back into a room.
She, like, came in with bloody hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then didn't realize it, because, like, you know, it could be the whole thing where it's, like, the headaches of someone controlling her or some shit.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It just occurred to me that we hadn't even talked about that blood when it happened.
I mean, I wasn't going to bring it up, but, you know, there is blood on her door, perhaps. Well, technically it's something that looks like blood, but, I mean, you know.
Yeah, we kind of just were making fun of it.
Yeah, the fact there was blood everywhere and 6 people are dead.
Well, we hadn't seen that 6 people were dead.
It's true, we didn't know
just
yet. I was fucking trying to keep it together. That's what I was doing. Look, oh yeah, sorry. I'm not saying that I always teared up a little. Look, I teared up a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Oh.
Once in the hallway, we lent a hand to Kumasawa, who was still trembling and leaning against the wall, and we all headed back to the parlor together. I gotta say, they just, like, glazed over the fact 6 people had died with Kumasawa. They walked in and they're like, oh yes, this must have been where they were murdered, and Kumasawa was like, what?
I don't know that she even knows yet. She's like, what? Some people are murdered? What is happening? So excited.
Then Genji returned.
Oh, Genji-san. Were you able to contact the police? As to that, I'm afraid I must apologize.
Self-contained narrative.
I don't know if it was a failure of the radio or something else that caused it, but... What the? So you couldn't contact the police? But the phone and the radio failed. My apologies. A boat will be arriving on Monday morning, and I believe we'll be able to borrow their communications equipment. Isn't there a boat on this island? Can't we just take a little trip out of the Najima Police Department? Hideyoshi-san, that would be impossible with this weather. At the very least, we can't do anything until the typhoon passes us by. Plus, Sama's boat is being repaired and is not on the island. Therefore, we must wait for the boat coming on Monday. How could this happen? 6 people are dead. Phones and radios aren't working. There's no boat. Until the typhoon passes and the boat comes. In other words, until tomorrow morning, we're going to be stuck here in this island, unable to contact the police, aren't we? Which means that, not just us, the criminal who killed everyone is also confined in this island.
Ooh.
That certainly follows. The culprit who killed everyone is still here on this island.
So the bastard who killed Dad and the others must still be hiding somewhere, unable to escape. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it! I'll catch that bastard. No way I'll hand him over to the police.
She wants vengeance.
I'll slice him to bits myself. Ah!
Get the polar bears out.
Maria had finally realized that something odd was happening in the parlor. Rather than noticing something odd, it was probably better to say she felt unhappy and neglected since everyone was getting so excited about something only she didn't know about.
Ooh. Jessica Oni-chan, did someone die?
The way she spoke was completely calm, just as though she was talking about someone who had appeared on a television drama, as though it was someone else's problem. Jessica probably didn't like that. As though trying to say, "Can't you tell?" just by looking at me overwhelmed with grief, she flared up at Maria. They all died. Everyone! Everyone! My dad and Battler's parents, Goda-san and Shannon, and even your mother, too.
Stop it, Jessica-chan. You're not the only one who's sad. Maria-san, I know this will come as a shock, but please listen. Your mother has died. Mama died? Ugh.
Yeah, someone killed her. I know it's sad, but stay strong.
How many people died?
6 people. 6 people. Damn it, damn it, damn it! How could anyone do something that cruel? There's a limit to how cruel you can be if you're human. I don't know who it is, but the culprit isn't human. There's no way their blood is red.
Mm-hmm.
Mmm.
Ooh. The culprit isn't human.
Oh god, that's actually really creepy.
It's just the... chosen by the...
Huh? Hey Maria, did you say something just now? Maria had just said something, but since the words were so remotely separated from the flow and context of the conversation, I couldn't understand them for a second. When I tried to ask her to repeat it again, I was shocked by the sudden sound of Aunt Natsui's loud voice coming from the entrance to the parlor. Like Aunt Natsui and Aunt Ava had returned for their trip to see Grandfather. And left us all hanging. God
damn them. What did she say, though?
Oh, what did she say?
We couldn't possibly figure it out. You can't contact them even with the radio?
Hold on, I just want to actually see.
The blank chosen by the blank.
Hold on.
Do you want to check some things?
Yeah, I know what it is. I just want to get the wording. I know exactly what it is, because we've already looked at this like 5 times.
I know.
Okay, 6 chosen by the king.
The blank chosen by the blank.
How did he not understand the word 6 when it had just been said like 3 different times in the sentence?
I think it was sacrifice. I think that's why he blanked it out.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
The sacrifice is chosen by the king.
God, fuck that sound.
Okay, I know, it's great. We can't contact them even with the radio. If we can't use it at a time like this, why do we even have an emergency radio? My apologies. It was supposed to have a maintenance inspection every year.
Wait, don't you have one of those boat signaling devices that makes a flashing light? Yes, it's called a fucking light. Couldn't you use that to contact the next island?
Just get a lantern, like throw some cloth over it, pull it back and forth. That's how you signal people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is great. I don't know if you've watched it, but there's this wonderful episode. I think it was Dad's Army, where they're like trapped out. They're like trapped out on a pier or something, and they're trying to signal to land, and they just keep getting the Morse code wrong.
That's pretty great.
I might be remembering it wrong.
They just say like, bring beef.
It's been so many years since I've seen it, but
you should watch that too, right after American Psycho.
Do you know Dad's Army?
I've seen it, not for a long time.
So good.
My dad loved that show, surprisingly.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in like 10 years, so I really have very faint memories of it, but I remember enjoying it lots.
We should watch it. Alright. We do not have such equipment. My sincere apologies. Oh, God.
Just then, Kumasawa arrived, pushing a serving cart loaded with breakfast. Since there was no way we'd be able to eat in the dining hall, Hideyoshi had ordered her to take it to the parlor.
Why are we eating breakfast here? Natsuki-san, I'll tell you later. More importantly, Eva, how is father? Judging by the fact that he is not with you, it seems he will not leave his room, not even for a situation like this.
He wasn't there. The room was empty.
Oh, that was a plank. There was a plank. There was a plank.
Does that mean...
Yeah, go System Boys. Hop over to characters. Kinzo, look at him. He's all grey and shit.
Ooh.
You want to take this?
Sure. Disappeared from his study unnoticed. Kinzo's study has everything from a bed to a toilet to a bathtub, so it's extremely rare for him to go outside. However, he does occasionally go out for a walk on a whim without telling anybody, and his disappearance invariably leads to a huge uproar throughout the house. He usually comes back as soon as he gets hungry. Usually?
Usually. Kinzo's, like, disappeared from his room. Oh.
I didn't even hear that audio cue.
I did. It's okay. I got you, fan. I got you back. What the? Where could he have gone at a time like this? Do you mean to say the master has left his study? It is correct. I was surprised myself. I wonder when he left his room. Do any of you have an idea?
That's how he looked at Genji and Cannon as she said this. Maybe she was trying to ask whether the servants who served directly under the one-winged eagle knew of a place he might go. However, it was probably the other way around. Their faces made it clear that those who knew Kinzo best realized even more than the rest how impossible it was for him to leave his room.
Even we have no idea. As you all know, within that study, the master had everything from a place to sleep to a bathroom. I couldn't imagine him leaving that room except for a significant reason. In that case, what? Isn't it natural to assume that one of those significant reasons came up? We still cannot be certain that's the case. Anyway, he is a fickle person, so it's possible he went for a walk by himself unaware of the current situation. If that is the case, we must act in all haste to tell him what has happened and ask for instructions.
That's right. Although I don't want to think about it, it's possible something has happened to him, isn't it?
I'd rather not even consider such a sinister possibility.
No one had seen Kinzo since the discovery of those 6 terrible corpses. On top of that, the phones were broken, the radio wouldn't reach anyone, and there was no way to contact the police. Apparently, the typhoon would leave tomorrow and a boat would come. But until then, no one could rely on anyone outside the island, nor could they escape the island. The tragedy had hit everyone so abruptly that they lost all their composure. Everyone felt a heavy silence. Everyone was impatient. Even though they needed to do something, they couldn't think of anything. So some of them just held their heads in their arms while the others got irritated. Right now, no one could explain what was occurring on this island, Rikenjima.
Rikenjima. Say it like that. Don't actually say it like that.
I won't.
Please don't. Rikenjima.
Rikenjima. After that, we ate the breakfast Kumasawa-san had made, which felt dry and tasteless. Ooh.
Ouch.
Of course, this was right after something like that had happened. No one felt particularly hungry.
This is why we need Goda. The best of us.
He's dead. Get over it.
I know he's dead, but he was the best of us.
Listen.
Yeah.
Hold on. Actually, let me think about it.
Okay.
I need to go back to characters.
Yes? Question mark? What's happening?
System. So only 2 of my voices died, whereas you lost 4.
I didn't mean to! I'm sorry! Look, I've been talking non-stop for the past couple scenes. I hope you noticed. Except for the narration.
I have. I feel like this is just the ruse before all of your characters die, and it's just me here.
It's okay. You have to just trust me, okay? We've been in a trusting relationship.
I'm trusting you.
You trust me.
I'm trusting you with an edge.
Please do. Thank you. Perfect.
Whew.
Alright.
No one felt particularly hungry. However, we understood logically that not eating would weaken our bodies. It would also be rude to Kumasawa-san, who had made the breakfast.
The best character.
Kumasawa-san had taken some unusual Western vegetables, ones that Goda-san had probably ordered for his ultra-elaborate meals, and cooked them in a Japanese style.
Sounds nice.
Which made them turn an unpleasant color.
Oh, maybe not.
I mean, unpleasant colors is just part
It could taste good.
Yeah.
It could just be like brown broccoli. It's fine.
Yeah, what?
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 Keep going. Keep reading.
As to what Goda-san had been planning to cook with those ingredients, right then I couldn't even imagine it.
Ah, well.
I didn't think about it, I'd been reminded of the way Goda-san died, and a sour taste would fill the insides of my mouth. I feel like I'm forgetting the accent when I put my headphones in, and I'm not sure.
It's fine.
Because I can't hear myself.
None of my accents have been consistent for any of the characters except maybe
right.
Rudolph.
Have they? No, they've been pretty good.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you feel that way. Your accents are okay.
I was waiting for it. I was like, he's gonna round this out.
Oh god.
I love it.
I couldn't ask for a better partner for this weird murder mystery anime.
Drink.
Slice of life romance thing. Drink? I don't have any drink left.
This is a goddamn massive thing
Alright,
of
I'll
tea.
pour myself some tea. You talk.
Everyone pretended to eat for the time being, but of course no one had made much progress.
It's good shit.
Yeah. Then we began pooling our knowledge of the current situation. First off, 6 people, which included Uncle Kraus, my dad, Kari-san, Aunt Rosa, Yoda-san, and Shannon-chan, had been found in the Rose Garden storehouse as brutally mutilated corpses, rather. And yet we still couldn't contact the police since both the phones and the radio were unusable. So until the typhoon passed, there was nothing we could do. Furthermore, grandfather, who we might have hoped to be able to show a little leadership in this kind of situation, had disappeared some time
Doesn't
ago.
give a fuck.
Yoda-san hadn't made breakfast, so grandfather's stomach must have been empty. And if he'd just been taking a casual walk, should have been able to hear him whining about how hungry he was by now. And despite that, he hadn't appeared. There was more than a small chance that he'd gotten caught up in this crime. According to my aunts, on their way back from Kinzo's study, they'd searched for him, calling out on every floor, but weren't able to find him. Considering the timing of it all, it's only reasonable to assume that the disappearance had something to do with the crime. I figured Dad and the rest were probably killed in the dining hall and then painstakingly moved to the storehouse. So maybe Grandfather has already been killed and dragged to some strange place which we simply haven't discovered yet. No one actually said it out loud, but this theory seemed extremely convincing, except that no one seems to have noticed other than Maria that this is all lining up with the goddamn epitaph.
Yeah, it's fine. She'll figure it out as soon as they look at it. We want to go check that all of the windows and doors are locked. We must also conduct a thorough search for Father. The children must remain in this room. Eva-san and Hideyoshi-san, I'm sorry, but please stay here with the children. I'd like to ask you the same, Dr. Najo. I understand. I will wait here.
And Natsui followed the servants, Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Kanon-kun, out of the parlor. What was left was Aunt Eva, Uncle Hideyoshi, Dr. Najo, and the 4 of us children. A total of 7 people.
Plenty of sacrifices. I mean people. Let's all sit together and maybe watch some television while we wait. Though I doubt we'll find anything good in the middle of the day on a Sunday.
Uncle Hideyoshi started acting cheerfully, trying to brighten up this gloomy atmosphere.
Good luck. Ooh! Good show. Watch it. Watch it. Ooh! Oh, really? You want to watch TV, Maria-chan? Then come and watch it with your uncle.
Maria was the only one who joined in. Even though Maria had been told of her mother's death, she didn't show the slightest flicker in emotions. Is it really normal for a 9-year-old girl like Maria to act so much like a very young child?
Sure, it's fine. Oop. Nice tea.
Yep.
Hope it's delicious.
Everyone else's mood failed to improve, and they each sank absent-mindedly into their sofas. Aniki, can I ask you something?
What is it?
Just now, in the storehouse, you said something about Shannon and a ring. Did you give that to her?
Why would you bring that
Oh,
up?
why would you bring that? Oh, look, his glasses. Oh.
His glasses are fogging up.
Mm.
No, please.
George Aniki didn't answer, but he hung his head and closed both of his eyes. There could be no clearer response.
Yep.
Wait a bit. Look.
Thank you.
Fucking A, Jessica. Figure it out yourself. Alright. I shouldn't have asked, nor been pouring myself tea when my characters were speaking.
Yeah. That's right. It was me.
Oh, it's the music again. Oh no!
I know.
Ah.
Last night.
Don't
was,
cry, Ben.
I'm not going to. It's okay. I'll be strong.
Be strong.
For Shannon-chan.
It's
Who fucking died with half
right.
her face smashed in.
right. It's only a few days until she's resurrected.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Last night, I proposed to her. That was when I gave her the ring. I told her that tomorrow, she should put on whatever finger she wanted as her answer. I guess it was a pretty pretentious thing to say. And that ring had been on the ring finger of Shannon-chan's left hand.
Well, several years ago, Shannon came to me asking for advice about you, George Nissan.
I wonder what she could have said.
Shannon was always really bad at lying. Obvious pretty quickly that you were the one she was talking about. She asked whether it'd be okay for her to get close to someone, even though she was only a servant. She asked about what kinds of things boys like, what kind of clothes she should wear to make them happy, so stuff like that. I guess you could say I felt envious hearing her say that. Then she was given an engagement ring. It all ended right there. I don't know who this is.
That was Battler. I think this is... I'll go with George. Different people value things differently. Being proposed to by a man, well, be the high point of your life. This is definitely Jessica.
Definitely Jessica. So I'm sure... Well, last night I'm sure Shannon was happier from the bottom of her heart. Happier than she's ever been since the day of her birth. We'll start guessing the voices right by the end of the...
It's fine, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. George Umineko sighed deeply without raising his head. Or maybe tears had risen to his eyes.
No.
No!
No tears.
Oh, there they are.
Seems... I know. Seems Shannon was on duty in the guest house last night. But because she was too embarrassed to go back to the guest house with me, she went over to the mansion.
Think about how Shannon must have felt. When you receive an engagement ring, then no matter how much warning you've been given beforehand, it's perfectly normal to get so excited your mind goes blank. She must have been incredibly embarrassed.
And then Shannon went to the mansion, even though she hadn't been assigned there. I'd go to some of his work and get caught up in his crime. I mean, I hadn't... You know, that ring, on that day, in that place, Shannon wouldn't have... Say wouldn't have been caught up in that crime. Yeah!
Nikki, that's the one place where you're wrong. It's definitely wrong. So don't cry anymore. Badlakun, let's leave him be. After Aneva said that, I stopped talking to him. Misplaced words of comfort might actually do more harm than good. Jessica sat down next to Aniki and put an arm around him. Maybe only Jessica, who'd known about Aniki and Shannon's love since the beginning, and who had even discussed that relationship with Shannon, could comfort Aniki now. I went over to Aneva and sat down in the opposite sofa. Badlakun, you really are strong. It looks like you've kept a good hold on yourself. Well, the depth of love becomes the depth of the wound, right? Well, it's not like how that old bastard died has anything to do with me. He looks way too smug for this.
Yeah.
I feel bad about Kairi-san. Well, she wasn't actually my parent. My. If that's so, you certainly were crying a lot back then. Well, I did think at least that much crying was due as a gratitude to the parent who raised me. The speed of that changeover and that dry tone must have come from Rudolph. That kid would always get violently happy, sad, and angry. He'd always regain his cool immediately afterwards. It's nothing like that. Haven't really been able to get over the shock yet. The only difference between me and everyone else is the kinds of emotions it stirred in me. What do you mean? I mean, acting much calmer than George, Aniki, and Jessica. That wasn't because my sadness was any less intense or because I'd already recovered. My sadness was simply getting replaced gradually with a different emotion.
So hype this track.
Rather than sad, I'd say I'm more pissed off. What bastard did this and where? It's kind of been eating at me that I didn't get a chance to smack him upside the face.
Fuck yeah!
That's what I really wanted to do.
Yeah!
I couldn't forgive myself as I just sat there, overwhelmed with sadness and hugging my knees.
Fuck him up!
Since the time Dad and the others were killed, this island's been covered by the typhoon. Which means the bastard responsible for all this is still somewhere on the island. Yes, that would seem to be the case. I wonder if they're hiding somewhere in that dark forest even now. Felt like I'd had a very similar conversation with Kairi-san the night before. That's right. After the letter from the person claiming to be Beatrice appeared at the dinner table last night, we talked about whether or not a 19th person actually exists. Anteva, do you think this murder has anything to do with the letter from Beatrice last night?
No.
That one? Well, I wonder. All of the siblings agreed that the mysterious letter was sent to further complicate the problem of father's inheritance. As to whether that and the case this morning are related, it's impossible to tell at this stage. Was that letter really given to Maria by some witch called Beatrice? How could it be? All of it was a farce devised by father, wasn't it? He made Shannon-chan or someone wear the dress from the portrait and trick Maria-chan, right? Is that just the kind of overly intricate prank father would pull? Last night I talked with Kairi-san about whether Beatrice actually exists. Kairi-san also said that Beatrice was probably one of the 18 of us. Isn't that obvious? There's no one else on this island besides us, right? And there must be someone amongst us who's pretending to be Beatrice. There's no one else but us on this island, you think? Obviously, right? You saying there could be someone else here other than us? No one is on this island except us. There are only 18 people. So the one pretending to be Beatrice has to be one of those 18. Kaori-san denied the existence of a 19th person by spinning the chessboard around. Even though Aunt Ava hadn't constructed an argument that complicated, her opinion was at least the same. Except if that's the case, our situation starts to look very ugly. At the time of Beatrice's letter, the whole thing could be passed off as a prank set up by someone or another. However, if we're assuming there's no 19th person, we can't ignore this anymore. In other words, if there is no 19th person, then the culprit who killed Dad and the others is also one of the 18, right? In other words, the person who killed them is one of the people inside this very mansion right now. Aunt Ava smiled meaningfully. Looked like she thought this conclusion should have been obvious from the very beginning. The culprit carried the bodies of the 6 into the storehouse. Even that was an impressive feat, don't you think?
That was Ava.
Was it?
Is definitely Ava.
Ah! Shutter is always closed and locked, right? In other words, in order to carry them into the storehouse, the culprit would need to unlock the shutter. Understand? Is it possible the shutter was left open by mistake that day? The servant said it's always kept locked. In other words, unless the culprit took the keys from the servant room, there's no way they could have opened the storehouse. I wonder if the key in the servant room was the only one. Genji-san said that was the case, which means the culprit knew where that single key was kept and took it. Just now I watched when Canon-kun returned the key to the servant room. The wall was packed with keys, and I don't think a novice would know where or what those keys went to. The culprit was miraculously able to find the storehouse key amongst all of those. Furthermore, even though the key didn't have a tag or anything sticking to it, they knew it was the key to the storehouse behind the rose garden. That means they also knew where the storehouse was. To say it even clearer, the culprit knew the inside of the servant room well. Her argument was extremely plain and clear. The bodies had been found thrown somewhere in the bushes or the rose garden wouldn't have been much to go on. However, if there was only one key to the storehouse in the servant room, and I dropped my microphone,
Nice.
it made a very deep rumble that the audience probably heard.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm
Don't
sure
worry
it'll
about
be fine.
it. It's worth it for the extra production quality.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
God damn it. It was stored with such a large group of keys, a novice would not be able to tell them apart. So the culprit was someone who went in the servant room a lot and was familiar with the location of the keys. Family members didn't normally go into the servant room, which meant that one of the servants is the culprit. Sorry, but even I can't tell you more than that. But I'll tell you one thing. What's that?
Shit's all red.
It's reasonable to think the culprits, multiple in number and fairly well armed, they'd have to be, wouldn't they? They had to assault the 4 in the dining hall and kill them, drag a total of 6 bodies all the way to the storehouse beyond the rose garden, arrange for that disgusting makeup and the graffiti on the shutter. There's no way that a single culprit would carry that all out on their own, right? It made sense. Probably wouldn't have been possible for a single person with enough time, but it would wouldn't have been. I always get
It would
these.
have. It's okay. I feel you. It would have been.
It would have been possible for a single person with enough time, but it would take so incredibly long.
We did have 6 hours.
That's true, but I think it's more the murder part that.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, one person killing 6 people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when 4 of them were supposedly in the same room.
That's true. That's true. They were debating the inheritance issue in the dining room, right?
Yeah. It's probably safe to assume that a significant number of people were involved. Is that a mathematical significant number? Because I don't remember the definition of a mathematically significant number.
I don't know either, I'll be honest.
I know it's a thing, though.
I don't know anything about maths, I just know murder. Go. I don't know math, I just know murder. That's a tagline, if ever I heard one. Oh god, Battler is not having any of this.
Ooh, so what you're saying is that maybe all of the servants were in cahoots. Please keep it quiet, okay? It wouldn't be right to voice mere speculation like this. If it really is true, the would you do next? They might not let us leave here alive. This is an opponent who had no trouble killing Nissan and the 3 others. Right now, the only ones I can count on to fight with me are the 3 in my family, maybe you, which comes to a total of 4 people, right? No better off than last night. Sure, it'd be easy for the culprits to massacre the rest of us. Been playing detective with Aunt Ava, trying to expose the person who had killed Dad and the rest before the police did. If only you can clearly penetrate the culprit's identity and stick the proof in their face. Been so sure that it's like one of those detective movies, the culprit would give up and surrender. However, the culprit would only surrender if there was no way for them to fight back. The culprits behind the crime on this island were far from helpless. They might even be able to massacre all of the remaining people here. On top of that, this island was like a giant closed room cut off from the outside world by the typhoon. They had a full day until tomorrow to kill, scheme, and camouflage themselves. In short, it wasn't a safe atmosphere where we could get very far by playing detective. On the contrary, we were all at a stage where we had to be scared stiff since playing detective might displease the culprits.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
just just give me
Can
a
you
second.
say it? It's okay. If you like, I might pose a question to you.
Mm-hmm.
It just occurred to me. So, Ava's saying a theory is it was all the servants who did it.
Yeah.
Now we know that 2 of the servants are dead. The other question that I have for you, assuming that they had enough people to kill those 6, there are 18 people on the island in total. How many people do you think it would take to kill 6 people like that?
Well, that depends.
Okay.
Because I feel like the assumption is that someone came in with a weapon.
Okay.
If you came in with a weapon, it'd be very difficult to kill the people without raising an alarm.
Yep.
But if you came in with other preparations, it would be very easy to kill people by yourself and move their bodies.
Okay. Okay. That's fair.
Because, let's just say, if we're assuming that the black magic stuff isn't really magic, and
Yeah.
what Shannon saw might not have actually been butterflies, it might have just been...
Like toxic gas or something? Is that the
well,
theory?
I'm thinking more some kind of chemical, basically. Even if it was a hallucination induced by a chemical that actually caused the butterflies. You know, like there's all of these... you know, shows and stuff would play out where it's like, oh, there's this creepy magic stuff going on, but turns out...
it's drugs and
turns
it's
out
the
it's-
government
Yeah.
and toxic chemicals.
Well,
yeah.
I wasn't really going government, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
no.
that's the thing, and that would have made it very easy to get rid of 6 people.
Because my next question was, if the culprit,
Yeah.
whether it's somebody in the party of 18, or if it's some extra person, or if it's an entire army, whatever this is we're dealing with, if they can kill those 6 people overnight, why haven't they killed everyone else yet? If they had the capacity to kill those 6 people. Just a thought. Why is that not possible for them?
I mean, that's assuming that they wanted to kill more than 6 people. I mean, I feel like the epitaph is clearly being played out right now. The question is it someone trying to play out the epitaph, like, blow for blow, or are they using the epitaph as something to cover what they're doing?
So the question you're asking, yeah, is it like some magical creature, or is it some kind of like trick? Like they're like, this is magic, but it's not actually.
Well, kind of on the right thing, but I'm more saying, like, you know, if it is, like, you know, just a regular old psychopath, they might be using the epitaph as something to cover their tracks.
Totally.
You know, even if they are actually following the epitaph with the intention of filling it out, you know, it could still be one of the people there. I don't know.
That's fair. No, I think that's all very, very fair.
Yeah.
I obviously can't comment too much on that, but I think that that's pretty fair reasoning. Wanna hop back in?
Sure.
Yeah.
And cause them to commit another mass murder. Well, it is just a possibility, right? I can't bring myself to trust the servants yet. That doesn't mean I only suspect them. Don't you think there might be some mastermind behind all of this? Mastermind? Why do you say that? It's just a feeling. Think about when the word servant literally... Think about what the word servant literally means. means someone who serves as someone else's arms and legs, right?
Roast their furniture.
There was a bunch of the Ashurmia family members who got killed. So naturally, there must be someone involved who stands to gain from that result. This is also plain and clear. The Ashurmia family had been right in the middle of discussions about how to distribute the inheritance when grandfather died. If this case followed the standard form of any classic mystery novel, the crime was definitely caused by someone with ties to the Ashurmia family and who was involved in the inheritance problem.
That was not... That's okay. Keep going.
That was not what?
That was not Ava's line at all.
Oh.
That was Battler's in a
all
monologue.
Battler?
Yeah, that was definitely Battler. It's okay.
It's getting late. I think this is definitely the last one we're doing.
It's okay. Let's push the finish. We got this.
Oh,
believe
boy.
me. It's okay. We're coming up on the best bit of the novel. It's
Oh,
fine.
goodness. The best bit of the novel?
The best bit.
But you can't confirm nor deny.
No denying or confirming.
Oh, goodness.
Sir. We need to do this. We're professionals.
Ava had probably read a few books in that genre herself. Her argument may have had a few blind assumptions in it, but it was a standard conclusion that anyone might have reached. I think most people would have ended up suspecting the servants, even if they used different reasoning to get there. Especially the story about the key to the shutter. That made it very easy to suspect that one of the servants was involved. And that's why I don't like it. Oh, what do you mean you don't like it? I'm just talking to myself. I tried to dodge a question by joking, but I couldn't erase the sense of unease welling up inside me. After all, her conclusion was such an easy one to reach. A conclusion that anyone could reach. I just couldn't be satisfied with that. If I tried spinning the chessboard around like I had learned from Kairi-san, this was exactly why a servant couldn't possibly be the culprit. If the servants really were the culprits, they wouldn't hide the bodies in a place connected to themselves. Why on earth would they use the Rose Garden shed if they were the ones in charge of the key that could unlock it? Police would probably immediately pursue whoever had been in control of the key. Even possible that some other facts might come to light as a result. The more we think of the servants as the culprits, the less reason they had to carry the bodies into the storehouse. What if they knew they'd think that and put the corpses in the storehouse for that very reason? No, that's completely impossible. When the police come and inspect the scene of the crime, they'll probably be able to uncover many things. No matter how carefully the culprits carried out that murder, some traces will definitely be found. In other words, they had everything to lose and nothing to gain. Think about it this way and look at this murder game from the culprit's side. It's hard to imagine why they'd want to call attention to the corpses. Once the corpses were found, it could result in someone sending a report to the police, or it might make the remaining people more cautious, or it might make the survivors start to search for the culprit.
He just called it a murder game.
Of course he did.
It's called a game.
Of course he did.
I find that highly amusing.
Yeah, no. None of these
great.
things would make life any easier for the culprit. It's just like the words of the main character's mother in a novel I read recently called...
Ah! He has read it! I told you he'd read it! You didn't believe me!
Oh my god.
Shout out, boys!
Oh.
I actually remember this exact chapter too. It's great.
That's so ham-fisted.
It's amazing. Keep going.
I'm just gonna go, hold on, I'm just gonna go get some ham from the kitchen.
Do you have any ham? Can I have some?
Yes, we have ham.
Can I have some ham?
Do you want
a sandwich?
some ham?
Please.
As long as you eat it straight out of your fist.
This?
Yeah, like that.
Hold on,
Just-
like in your fist. How do you like?
No,
I guess
just
you gotta
stick your
hold it
whole,
clutched.
just stick your whole fist in, and then suck the ham out the side of your fist.
Done. The visual there was most of the joke, but that's okay. Perfect. Continue forward, sir. What did he read about in the novel called Higurashi no Nakakura ni, also known as When the Cicadas Cry? Written by Rukishio 7. Available on the Steam store.
Wait.
What?
Also known as what?
When the Cicadas Cry.
Cicadas cry.
Yes, as opposed to When the Sea Kittens Cry. You're so done.
I'm so...
You were so on board, and now you're just done.
This line might be it for me.
This is it.
That's it. That's... Every story needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I feel like we should go read Higurashi now.
No, too late. We have to keep going.
I know
with
it's
this.
too late. I know it's too late.
Let's keep going, Bam. Let's go.
Why did you have to be self-referential? Like,
don't worry, it's only maybe once or twice more. It's fine.
we just, hit the brick wall of 6 people dying in this story.
Yeah, I know.
And then suddenly...
It's great. Don't worry, this is important.
Oh my god.
Keep reading. I believe in you and your ability to push past this obstacle. Break through to a miracle. Do it.
Right now,
Speaking of miracles,
we don't know where Grandfather is. We don't know if he's already become a victim or if he's one of the culprits, but this state of confusion must be beneficial to the killer.
that's what you were saying. Sort of. Anyway.
The culprit has absolutely nothing to gain by showing us the bodies in such an obvious way and making us all realize that I hit the spacebar too early.
Okay.
Realize there's been a murder. In fact, this is the perfect place to spin the chessboard around. In other words, showing us the corpses in such a flashy way must be the culprit's goal in and of itself. So at the very least, to the culprit, the appearance of 6 corpses meant more than the deaths themselves. In other words, the culprit wanted this murder on display. To whom? To us. This is a message. The culprit's trying to shove something in our faces. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you're so thick. I hate you, Battler.
I don't think he's thick. I think he's just being expositional for the sake of the audience.
I know. He's also just completely blinded by his murder bullshit. Do you know what he's missing? Have you figured it out? I hope you know what he's missing.
I mean, I feel like I know what he's missing.
What do you think?
The epitaph.
What happened right before these murders occurred? What did we get? Something happened. Something inexplicable happened with a certain little girl who came in from the rain with a little letter.
Right.
What did that letter say? Do you remember?
Let's go look, shall we?
Alright. Let's do it.
Tips.
Just the last page. It'll be the last page.
Right, yeah, the rules apply equally.
Yep.
Battle of wits with Kinzo-sama to the fullest.
Yep. If you discover the gold, I shall return everything to you.
Intellectual and elegant.
And elegant. Very elegant. Fact.
Right.
Yeah. So this is Witch's letter telling them to solve the epitaph, and that is not a thing that's happening right now.
I mean, I feel like it's just expositional. I can't really feel bad for the man when he's just had to be self-referential.
And his parents did just die, so...
Yeah, I can't really feel bad for him.
I know.
Mainly because of the self-referential thing.
Mainly because of the Higurashi stuff. It's
yeah.
fine. At least it's over now.
I'm so sorry his character had to be subjected to that low point.
I know. It's okay.
Ugh. At this point in time, this vulgar mass murder isn't making me feel anything except malice directed towards all of us. Malice towards all of us, is it? Is he gonna figure it out?
I don't know.
Please?
Let's find out.
Each one of the survivors has some kind of connection to one of the 6 victims.
Yes, it's true.
Uncle Krause's death brought Jessica the grief of losing a family member. The deaths of Dad and Kairi-san brought me sorrow, while Aunt Rose's death brought Maria... Oop, shit!
Not your tea!
Not my tea!
Fuck! Want me to clean that up?
Yeah, just grab tissues right there.
Oh my god.
That's alright, it's not bad.
That's right, keep reading. Don't let the audience down.
Ah!
Oh, yeah. Pull it. Pull it. Yeah. Okay, folks, we'll just experience some technical difficulties. If you could all just hold on to your seats for about 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1 and a half.
I'm gonna be thorough. 1 and 1/4. We can cut this out.
1 and 1/8.
If you're gonna keep talking, I'm gonna have to include this because
16, 1 and 1, 32, 30 seconds? Shit.
32.
32. 1 and 1, 32. Done.
Right. Bins behind.
What?
Bins behind the cardboard box.
And action.
So, in case I didn't decide to cut that out, welcome back. We just cleaned up a mess because I spilled my tea in excitement.
It's fine. Too much excitement. Too many self-referential jokes.
Yep.
Let's go.
Uncle Krause's death brought Jessica the grief of losing a family member. The deaths of Dad and Kairi-san brought me sorrow, while Aunt Rose's death brought Maria sorrow.
Yeah.
Yoda-san's death probably shocked his fellow servants, and Shannon-chan's death brought grief to George Aniki, who had proposed to her, and Kanon-kun, who had loved her like an older sister. Everyone now on this island received an equal amount of sadness. Now, Ava was sure that the servants were in cahoots. But then how could you explain the deaths of Goda-san and Shannon-chan? I'd also like to... Wait, who did he say... Hold on. Hold on.
What are you looking for?
He doesn't mention...
Rudolph? He calls him Dad.
No. He doesn't mention, He doesn't mention Well, I guess he doesn't.
Kumasawa isn't dead yet.
He
He's
doesn't...
just one of the servants.
No. He doesn't mention Eva and,
It's true, no one has died who is close to Ava Hideyoshi, unless you count Kraus, who is their older brother. Well, Ava's older brother.
Yeah.
Hideyoshi's pretty, like, detached right now.
Yeah.
Seemingly. Yeah. I'm sure it's fine. It was just talking about a murder mystery. It's fine. You want to tell me what you're thinking? Or do you want to continue and see what happens?
I think we should just continue, really.
Alright, let's go.
At any rate, by this argument, the grief caused by the 6 deaths hit everyone.
Yeah, there it is.
Right.
Nailed it!
God damn it.
Oh my god. We're so on the ball. I love this.
So on the ball, but also wasting everyone's time.
It's great.
Even Aunt Ava, who directed suspicion at the servants, acted as though she herself was beyond suspicion. Could not be ruled out as a suspect. In the first place, she was able to argue that the servants were suspicious by focusing on the shutter's key. If you look at it from a perspective of motive and who would gain, Aunt Ava's name rises to the top of the list. Long black with no text. Concerns me.
Oh shit, we got that detective music on again.
I know what you're thinking, Battlecon. Huh? Oh no, please don't tell anybody about how my head's so full of obscene stuff. I'm the one with the most to gain from these murders.
True.
Since I'm going to be suspected anyway, I might as well get it out in the open. I tried to dodge the issue by joking around, but apparently it didn't work. The inheritance will be divided into as many parts as there are siblings. Right now, I'm the only one of the 4 left. All of the assets of the Ishirimiya family will become mine. If Uncle Hideyoshi heard you, he'd say, could you give it a rest? It's not funny. I'm sorry, I was just fooling around since I'm going to be suspected anyway, no matter how much I try to smooth it over. That's why, from my point of view, this murder might have been designed to cast suspicion on me. Fortunately, my alibi for last night is weak. Could you tell me a bit more about last night?
He holds forward his notepad and pen.
Yeah. As you know, the discussion between the siblings how to slice up and eat the inheritance continued until late in the night. But I don't know how late it lasted. My husband and I had woken up early that morning. We were so sleepy, a little past midnight they let us go. We then returned to the guest house and rested there. Can anyone other than Uncle Hideyoshi prove that? No, it's not like I suspect you or anything, okay? Oh, are you sure about that? I don't know if it counts as proof, but when we returned to the guest house, we were greeted by Genji-san, who asked if we needed a towel. I think that should be enough to prove we returned to the guest house a little after midnight. If my memory was correct, the servants would all be in cahoots, and that wouldn't actually make for much of an alibi. What?
Theory. What do you mean?
That's just such a mess of a point.
Yeah, she's making a point.
Like, she's saying that her alibi is suspicious because she didn't commit the murder and it was the servants.
Yeah. Well, that's right now we're seeing a lot of like back and forth of like, well, obviously it's the servants because the
that
king
argument just doesn't make sense though. She's saying, if my theory was correct and the servants would all be in cahoots, that wouldn't actually make for much of an alibi. Yeah. But if it is her theory is correct and it was the servants, her alibi doesn't matter.
It's true. It's true. It was just covering all her bases. Yeah.
Not very well.
Yeah, not very well. It's fine.
Hey, you've got a point there. No, she doesn't. Guess that means I'm playing detective with the real culprit right now, huh?
Ooh.
But let me say this for my honest sake. If I was after the inheritance, I'd never commit such a bizarre set of murders.
I'd just bring a machine gun and just go ham.
After all, if I wanted to make them forfeit the rights to the inheritance, it wouldn't matter to me how they died. It'd be much smarter of me to try and make their deaths look like accidents. Especially if you're assuming I laid out some careful plan involved in these servants. Okay, so now she covered her bases.
Yeah,
good recovery.
She's good. She's got this. She's Ava. She's smart.
That's so dumb.
Theoretically.
You got a point there. If you're killing someone for personal gain, you definitely shouldn't make it look like murder. Exactly. That's why I'm in such a blue mood. Police will probably treat me like the mastermind and investigate all kinds of things. No fun at all. Aunt Ava shrugged with a bitter smile. It was just as easy to suspect Aunt Ava as it was to suspect the servants. So if we spin the chessboard around...
Oh, God.
Does that make it...
Yeah. Here we go, Bella. You got this. You're a smart man.
Does that make it impossible for the culprit to be her, suspicious as she is? If that sort of argument always works, then her motive can never help us in any way. It can't be right. Knowing the motive must give us powerful clues towards knowing the culprit. That's why murders from all time periods disguise crimes in complicated ways, cleverly preventing their motives from being discovered. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Every time I spin the chessboard around, it keeps flipping from front to back and back to front. My thoughts bringing me closer to the truth. Or are they? Lengthy black screen.
He's not super good at this chessboard thing.
And Ava didn't want to talk anymore than that, so I folded my arms and headed to the window to cool my head a little. As I looked over the parlor, I saw George, Nikki, and the others gathered talking. Looked like they were talking about the magic circle that had been painted onto the shutter. Uncle Hideyoshi thought back to that time he started drawing the shape in the margins of Maria's notebook. I see, since Maria was second only to grandfather in knowledge of the occult, she might understand what it meant.
I think it was probably something like that. There was a mark that looked like a variation of a cross.
Has nothing to do with Maria's name whatsoever.
Nothing.
Which they explicitly mentioned had this cool cross thing in it.
And they had surrounded the circle all around the perimeter with those closely patched strange letters on all four sides of the cross. And then the four corners, there was something written. It didn't look like the alphabet or something like that. It was what they call ancient characters. And around at the top of the circumference, there was a small mark. 5 small circles arranged in a cross sign, and straight lines connecting them. Yeah, there definitely was something like that drawn there. Yep, there's no mistaking the shape. I don't understand the thing characters, but the arrangement was nearly the same.
Everyone was staring down at the shape, so I stared down at it. Hold on. I just need to go back. I might have misread that.
Okay. It's like a real detective novel.
Okay.
This is great.
So, he started drawing the shape in the margins of Maria's notebook.
Yes.
Right. I thought that... Because... Okay. I thought it had said that it was already in Maria's notebook.
No.
Okay.
He was drawing it from memory, and
right.
He's trying to recreate it.
Yeah. Why don't they just go look at it?
I don't know. It's a great question.
I mean, I guess it's pretty uncomfortable, but still.
The whole blood thing is pretty...
Yeah.
Pretty...
Everyone was staring down at the shape, so I stared down at it too. Oh, look, they did it perfectly.
Nailed it.
So what are the 5 small circles they're talking about?
Oh.
I'm assuming it's like 1, 2, 3,
yeah, the ones that like cross
4,
over.
5.
Maybe. I'm not really sure. I'll be honest. I don't know what they could.
Let me just do that with a mouse. So 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I mean, they
4,
form the cross.
5.
But yeah. I think that's what it's referring to.
I don't know. The problem is because this is like blacked out up the top.
Yeah. We don't get a clear view of the marking.
Can you see if you can just find one for me?
I can see. I'll have a look. I can't promise anything. Also, I need to pay attention. But yeah.
From what I heard, this has been painted on the shutter to look to the storehouse with some materials that look like blood. See, this sure is unsettling. Grandfather's probably the only one who'd want to draw something this weird. Seriously, where did he go? I want to grab him and ask what the hell this is supposed to mean. Jessica's voice contained impatience and anger. She hadn't gone so far as to say grandfather was the culprit, but she's sure seemed...
Found it.
Alright, hold on. Let's, yeah.
It's a bit better. I think that's right. Don't read what's below there.
Why not?
Because it's not something you should know about.
But is this looks like it's from outside Umineko.
I mean, it is, but still.
I thought you said I was allowed to do outside research.
I mean, we're gonna... Look, there's the image there. You can have a look at it if you like, but don't worry about reading about it.
Alrighty, I'll see if I actually remember to edit that image over the top so people can see it.
It's a good plan.
But the 5 circles I marked are not the 5 that were there. There's like a tiny little thing on the top of it.
Yeah, there's little ones. It's fine.
Jessica's voice contained impatience and anger. She hadn't gone so far as to say grandfather was the culprit, but she seemed sure that grandfather knew something about the culprit's background. Of course, if you were searching for a link connecting the Ashuramiya family to the occult, 10 out of 10 people would think of grandfather. Also, to a person who knew nothing of the occult, this strange mark would have no meaning. Which meant that this might have been something addressed to grandfather. That's right, and the reason the crime was shown to the survivors was so they'd find this. In that case, where had grandfather, the essential recipient of the message, disappeared off to?
Does this shape ring any bells? Who?
Maria looked at the shape with a serious face. Maybe she was enthusiastic because this was her area of expertise. However, her appearance was that of someone separated from the events at hand, as though this thing hadn't been drawn on the shutter closed around her mother's corpse.
A giant throat. My first impression was the design resembled a German cross.
Which has nothing to do with Maria's name.
Nothing. It certainly does have that kind of design. Does that mean it has something to do with Germany? The German cross was originally a crest from a religious order of knights that was supposed to protect pilgrims traveling to sacred places.
So in other words, this magic circle might have had some religious meaning. It's starting to sound like gibberish. When I looked over at all of them, preparing to jump into the discussion, something shocked me.
Here we go.
Maria was smiling, an eerie, incomprehensible expression on her face. It was almost as if she was making fun of everyone's ignorance. It was an expression I wouldn't have dreamed to find on Maria's face, and she laughed. That eerie, jarring laugh was something I didn't want to believe was possible, even though I was looking at it right in front of my eyes. Are we about to see it happen? That's a very different voice you're doing there, Ben. That's a very different voice you're doing there.
You people aren't even close. Can't you tell just by looking?
While everyone was busy being scared out of their wits, Maria kept on cackling happily by herself. After a while, that laugh was suddenly and abruptly cut off, but her expression still looked like it belonged to someone completely different from Maria.
This is the 7th magic circle of the sun. The characters are written in Hebrew. Give it here. Sure.
Maria stole the writing materials from the stunned Hideyoshi's hand. She then started drawing another magic circle with a rustle right next to the one Hideyoshi had drawn. See?
It looks sort of like this, right? Yes. It was...
Maria, incredible. You really do know a lot and are definitely not possessed by witch. Jessica tried to smooth things over by praising Maria. Maybe she wanted to confirm that this was still the Maria we all knew so well, but Maria didn't answer in any way in particular. Maria began swiftly writing unfamiliar characters in the corners of the shape. Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo saw them, their eyes immediately began to open wide.
Written on the top and bottom and left and right, the names of the angels who preside over wind, fire, earth, and water. Kazan, Errol, Vorlak, and Talihad. And in the four corners are the names of the four great kings, Hariel, Seraph, Tarsius, and Cherub. Is that what you saw?
Hold on.
Yeah.
I recognize all of these words, but I don't
It's fine.
attribute any
We'll
significance to them
learn.
particularly.
Trust me, Maria's Miss Black Occult Exposition Girl. Let's go.
Even if they hadn't been able to correctly write what they'd seen when they were once again shown something identical, it wasn't difficult for them to realize the two were the same. Maria asked them whether it matched Uncle Hideyoki and Dr. Nanjo nodded over and over again.
There's no mistake. That's it. I'm sure there were characters that looked like that. How are you able to write something like that? There were also characters written around the circumference. I know. Like this, right?
Maria quickly began to surround the circumference with more Hebrew writing.
It's from Psalms of the Old Testament, the 16th and 17th verses of the 116th Psalm. You must have at least read the Bible, right?
No. See, this is getting to something that I hate. This is getting to something I hate in literature, right?
Yeah.
And I assume that, like, I enjoy that this is making fun of it.
Yeah.
But throughout my entire career of schooling, it's always been like, I've read the whole way through the Bible once. Don't remember jack shit from it. So, you know, like, always used to get things in, like, essays and tests, and I'd, like, go in and I'd be like, I have no idea what's going on here. Bullshit about symbolism, bullshit about this and that. And then I'd come out of the exam and people are like, oh yeah, the clear biblical references. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are biblical references going on here. I don't feel like you need to go and read through the entire Bible in order to understand this story.
I don't think I do
So
either.
don't worry
I
about
just
that.
I just wanted to voice a
But-
complaint about
No,
literature.
I feel you. Don't worry. It's okay.
For a while, everyone, including me, was at a loss for words. A little later, George and Nikki returned to his senses and slowly managed to speak.
That's incredible. I'm surprised. So what meaning does this magic circle have? Here we go. It's a magic circle to borrow the power of the sun. He who wears it as a talisman jeweled in gold shall be able to break free from the bonds of any prison and receive the power to gain freedom. What?
Break free from bonds and gain freedom. It sounds deep.
The word bonds is not limited in its interpretation to some kind of physical object. Therefore, it does not only hold meaning for people locked up in an actual jail. It can also refer to the release from mental bonds, such as ties of obligation and inescapable fate. Look at those big words.
Ties of obligation and inescapable fate, you say? That's also pretty deep.
But I really don't understand. What does this have to do with those 6 bodies? From being released, they were killed and stuffed in the storehouse, weren't they? It's not like the magic circle was drawn for their sakes. The 6 of them were there for the sake of the magic circle. It is truly pitiable. What do you mean? What in the world do you mean when you say the 6 of them were there for the sake of the magic circle?
Maria lifted up her pointed finger and waggled it as if she were making fun of us.
That's written around the circumference. Can't you read it? Psalms, chapter 116, verses 16 and 17. I'll read it for you. The Lord has freed me from my chains. I will offer to you the sacrifice of thanksgiving. I will call on the name of the Lord. See? Simple.
See, you say, I've got no idea what you're talking about. You're saying they're human sacrifices. If what Maria had just read aloud was a vital part of the magic circle, then it was saying that the sacrifices had to be offered in order for this magic circle to be effective. So human sacrifices had been offered inside the storehouse where the magic circle had been drawn. A heartbeat later, everyone seemed to reach the same conclusion. Some people were shocked and others spat. This was insane. They punched their knees. This was starting to get incredibly disturbing, and we couldn't accept it or understand it. I don't care what kind of magic circles or curses other people believe in, I won't pick a fight with them. Did they really kill Dad and the rest as sacrifices for crap like that? I just couldn't stand that feeling. Compared to this, I preferred it when we were still disgusted by that theory about the fight over the inheritance. I started getting pissed off with a feeling between anger and sadness. I broke from the circle everyone was in and returned once again to the window. Something had gone insane since yesterday. It was a letter from the witch, Beatrice, that Maria had read aloud at last night's dinner. Ever since that point, it feels like we've known. This whole mansion, this whole island have been getting more and more firmly locked inside some kind of bizarre world. That's right, when I think back on it, that letter was an invitation from the witch to read Higurashi, which I just referenced, which means...
We should go and read Higurashi!
Oh, God!
Play forever. Let's go read Higurashi.
Oh, God. The ruler of the nighttime island... my concern is right.
Yep.
Before I continue.
Oh my god, yes! What's your other concern?
If we go read Higurashi, there's going to be references to his other previous works.
I don't know there are. There are references to Cardcaptor Sakura, though. If you're into that. You want to get references to
It'll
Cardcaptor
just be an
Sakura?
endless loop.
An endless loop of references?
Yeah.
This sounds like a great idea for a story.
Yeah, he's going to reference the thing that he's going to write in 20 years.
Ah, I can't wait for that to happen.
Oh, God.
He's writing When They Cry shortly, I believe. Like, it's in development now, so I'm pretty excited for it.
Hopefully it comes out in English.
Wow. It definitely won't. But that's fine. Let's keep going.
Listen, I have nothing wrong with the J-Pens.
Oh my god!
The
We
ruler
got
of
this
the nighttime-
badass music in the background. This is the fucking witch music. Ah!
The ruler of the nighttime island
Thank
had
you.
invited us inhabitants of the day into another world. The phone and the radio had been interrupted and the island was shut off by the typhoon, so you could really call this place another world cut off from the real one by now. As this island is now, it's perfectly normal for a witch to send us letters and for human sacrifices to be offered up for the sake of magic circles. So what'll happen next? Will some weird people wearing goat masks start doing the Bond Festival dance or something? Can't wait for that part.
Can't wait for it.
Ah, it's hopeless. It's hopeless. I don't get it. Inside of my head's all screwed up and I don't even know what to think. Anger, sadness, opposing emotions all swirled up together and they started to suck me in. Unable to resist, I could do nothing but cover my eyes with my hands and trust in my mind and body as I started getting sucked in.
Yeah. Let's fucking do it! Keep going.
As I started losing heart, I began to recall a memory from when I was small. It was from when I was very young. I had unfortunately seen a scary occult movie on TV, and for a while I hadn't even been able to go to the bathroom by myself. The old bastard gave an exaggerated laugh and said this.
Hey, Battler. Why do you think they go to all the trouble to make movies like this about demons and the occult and such? It's because they don't exist. Something that ridiculous can't be found anywhere on the planet. Because they don't exist, people want to see them and go to a lot of effort in making them. That's why those occult movies just make me laugh. If I were forced to choose, I'd say, rather than demons and monsters, this year's earnings call and angry wives are 100 million times scarier. I'll go further, okay? From my point of view, getting scared is a recreational emotion, something for people who've got room to relax both in their hearts and their lifestyles. They had so much free time they didn't know what to do with it, so in order to entertain their mind with unusual emotions, people started creating a culture with demons and occult and stuff.
Oh.
Udes. Dots.
Dots. Seriously, why have I been acting so damn thick-headed? I was totally taken in. Trying to mess with me.
Is his dancing pipe. I love this song. Keep going!
Right, I was wondering if you'd like heard of music.
Keep going!
Shh. There are people sleeping in this house, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm so excited.
Ugh.
Ready for it?
Oh my god. Don't try to mess with me. This is the human world. I don't give a damn about witches, demons, magic, circles, and sacrifices. The human who killed Dad and everyone else is still on this island. That's all there is to it, right? The next person who started speaking to my heart was Kairi-san.
You see, in both chess and shogi, when you reach the very, very last stage of the game and get closer and closer to cornering your opponent, the number of optimal moves you could possibly make gets smaller and smaller. Therefore, if you're backing someone against the wall, or if someone's doing the same to you, both players' moves become infinitely easier to read. In other words, when you're completely cornered and you think you have no moves left, that is the moment when it's easiest to read your opponent. However, when a person is forced into a defensive position, they can't help but lose their ability to think clearly, so they aren't able to get their minds around their opponent's moves. That's when you spin the chessboard round. Whoa!
Ugh.
Yeah!
With all my strength, I slapped my face with both hands, and my eyes were truly open. You don't understand anything, and you're completely cornered just like I am now. Isn't that the perfect time to spin the chessboard around? On the defensive, we can't even guess at the culprit's scheme. If we spin it around and look at it the other way, just what might we see? First off, at the time of the culprit committed the murders, they knew the island was being cut off by the typhoon. So they should have understood that even if they carried out the murders, they wouldn't be able to get away early the next morning. In short, the culprit had begun without securing a way to escape. Furthermore, that bastard tossed the corpses in the storehouse, and was even kind enough to say, "Here they are." That weird bit of graffiti. In other words, since we'd probably find the corpses sooner or later, he wanted to show them to us. If we'd all been dim and hadn't noticed the storage shed, the culprit's goal would not have been achieved, would it? If you think about it this way, that bastard of a culprit. This morning, they must have been watching our every move with bated breath. After all, if we hadn't been so kind as to discover what was in the storehouse, that hard work and preparation they did last night would have gone poof. The culprit want to make us feel by showing us the corpses in the storehouse. All 6 of the bodies had their faces notably destroyed. Was it a grudge? A warning? The defacement of the bodies had occurred after death, but it hadn't been the means by which the culprit had been killed. It didn't mean anything to those who'd been killed. It didn't have to mean those who found the bodies. The culprit wanted to make it appear as they'd been killed so brutally. Huh. If thinking this way, I really want to tell that bastard to stop taking me so lightly. Just dance to that tune. If you're told, please be scared, you can't just say, really? Sure thing. Someone tells the great Ashurami about them. The entrance is right here. I'm the kind of guy who'll start wanting to sneak in through the window. Next thing that had me concerned was that so-called magic circle on the shutter. Miss Maria, who'd shown that her knowledge of the occult rival grandfathers had recognized the magic circle was genuine. He must have drawn that thing in pitch-black darkness, taking a lot of time and holding an umbrella in one hand. That amount of hard work and perfection is impressive. What purpose would have been worth all of that effort? If we were looking for a fan of the occultist mansion, most likely all of us would naturally suspect Grandfather. They want us to make us think Grandfather was involved? If that's all they wanted, they could have just drawn any old scribble that looked like a magic circle. And like any of us amateurs would have been able to tell the difference between a genuine and a fake. And this magic circle was genuine, and furthermore, it had even been written in Hebrew. This magic circle had a message. It could only be understood by someone with knowledge of the occult. The message is a form of communication. By sending it, they were hoping for a reaction. A reaction. For some reason, we couldn't find Grandfather now. I don't know how Grandfather might have spotted the magic circle on the shutter, but he did choose to hide himself in reaction. No, it was a trap to make us suspect that Grandfather had participated. Either way, damn, it's annoying. What kind of reaction was the culprit hoping to get out of us by putting us in this occult show? That felt like the culprit's weak point. The letter from Beatrice that Maria had read aloud during last night's dinner sprang back into my mind. She was a freak who'd asked us to enjoy a battle of wits.
Yes!
Isn't that interesting? This is a battle of wits between us and the witch.
Yes!
Will we be sucked up by her occult game first, or will we put her off... Or will we put off her fake skin first? The whole day until the typhoon passes. We not enjoy ourselves.
Fine. That's right! Yes.
finally noticed that the inside of the parlor had gone quiet again. Everyone had sunk into their favorite sofas, some deep in thought, some irritated, some acting depressed. Maria was once again enjoying the TV as if she'd never left it. Looked as though she'd found the commercials more fun than the boring program, and she happily yelled, "Ooh!" and giggled.
Yeah.
I stared at each person's appearance in turn. There isn't a 19th person. The culprit must be in this room. Oh, we're getting another pan.
Get in the pan. Coco. Yeah. Fernando. Looks nervous. Maria's looking fly. Butler.
Notice neither of the servants.
Yeah, they weren't in here.
Well, neither
Oh,
of
with
them.
Natsuhi, that's right.
Yeah. Right now, Natsu is searching the mansion with the servants, right? Shouldn't say in this room. In this mansion is where the culprit has to be. For all it's possible, Aunt Natsui was behind this, and we still can't deny that one of the servants might be the killer. Anyone could be guilty. Still, Aunt Natsui and the rest were taking their time. Of course, it's not a small mansion, but isn't this taking a little long just to walk around and checking windows and doors? Just as I was thinking this, Aunt Natsui and the rest returned. One of them was missing, but our relief was short-lived. Everyone looked at Aunt Natsuhi in shock. The talk I'd had with Aunt Eva started to creep back into my mind. The possibility that the culprits had enough in numbers or weapons to kill all 6 at once.
The reveal.
Forgive me if I've startled you.
Hold on, this is me. Hold on.
Sorry.
I'm the one with the gun. Thank you very much.
Hold on, I have to see the gun in the new image.
She just walks in with a gun. Oh, this is looking good.
Oh.
That's it. Looking fierce. Forgive me if I've startled you. I brought this fucking huge gun to be prepared for the worst.
After all, that thing in Natsui's hand was a rifle. At a glance, its silhouette looked a lot like a hunting gun, but it was unusually short and kind of looked like a kid-sized weapon.
It's sawed-off rifle.
However, it had a weightiness to it that made it clear it was no kid's toy.
That gun is Kinzo-san's, isn't it? Did you know about it? That's right. I remembered it was in Father's old collection. I managed to find it.
Whoa, awesome. Natsu-san, is that thing real?
Yes, it's very real. It can fire live ammunition. Long ago, Father used it to scare away wild birds, you know.
Oh, that takes me back. Where did you find that thing? No matter how much I asked him to let me touch it, he never let me lay one finger on it. Oh, grandfather had one of these? I didn't know that. Back in Soviet Russia, we had many, many rifles.
And the machine guns.
Long ago, grandfather was really addicted to cowboy films. The generation really liked this kind of rifle.
Is that a Winchester? I've never seen one of that shot before. Ah, I remember. It's that gun. That really takes me back. That's the one Steve McQueen fired off in Wanted, Live or Dead. But the show has good taste. It is an item the master ordered specially from America long ago. As you can see, it is a working gun, so please don't tell anyone about this. Or I'll be fine.
The gun's legal in the Japans?
I don't know. I don't know that it's a licensed gun at the very least. He was quite fond of it right after he managed to acquire it. It seems the workings that ejected the cartridges were more interesting to him than shooting it, and he played around with it back in the forest all the time.
Still, it's rather disturbing. You sure you should be dragging this out?
This is to prepare for the worst. There was probably more than one offender involved. Furthermore, these horrible people killed 6 of us, including my husband. I have a responsibility to protect everyone until tomorrow in my husband's place.
As Natsui-san said this, she slumped down into one of the sofas and took a deep breath, the shotgun across her lap.
Yeah.
She'd been trying to find grandfather as well as check the doors and windows. Since grandfather wasn't with her, she probably still didn't know where he was.
I carefully checked all of the doors and windows throughout the mansion. However, we must be prepared for anything. Everyone, I think it would be best if we all remained here, and no one moved.
Oh, good point. If everyone's gathered here, then we can all feel more secure by keeping an eye on each other.
What do you mean by that, Ava-san?
Nothing really. I'm just agreeing with your opinion, aren't I? There was a stormy atmosphere between the two of them. Thinking about who was the most suspicious from the inheritance standpoint, Aunt Eva was the obvious answer. However, there was no proof that Aunt Natsui was innocent. Also, she had a gun.
Yep. Ava has a fan.
No, if you view Beatrice's letter as one of grandfather's complicated pranks and think of this crime as an extension of that, there's more than enough reason to suspect even grandfather. I love how he's calling a fucking 6-person murder a potential prank.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
it's great. Batlord is taking this very seriously, you can tell.
Also, Natsui thought the criminal was on the outside, but I never thought the criminal was on the inside. In short, it was the question of whether or not a 19th person exists. The same question has been repeated endlessly since last night's dinner, with a letter from the witch who called herself Beatrice. So, was the culprit among us or not? Did the witch Beatrice exist or not?
Great questions.
If you assume something as stupid as a witch can't exist, then you're basically saying one of these relatives here who share a common bloodline is the culprit. If that was too unpleasant, it'd be much more comfortable to simply accept the fairy tale-like character of the witch. A witch? A witch drawing a bizarre magic circle and offering human sacrifices? If I could accept that rubbish, I'd be able to trust all the people in this room. The damn common sense got in the way. I kept repeating that witches don't even exist. In that case, the culprit must be among us. In the middle of the seemingly endless rain, none of us could break silence.
Hideyoshi?
Got it right that time.
Nailed it. Oh, look at all that time passing. It's lunchtime. Can't wait to see what they have for lunch.